Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Silver. Our guest today is my good friend Thomas Parilla, president of Parilla Investment Group. Welcome back, sir.
Hi, Ivan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's always great having you come down to Wall Street Silver. This is an incredible time to be in precious metals. Such an exciting time where you're looking at, the economy, the depreciating US dollar, and gold and silver are just making those exciting moves. I usually start off with gold. Let's start off with silver. Where do you see silver going now for the next 2, 3 months?
Yeah, silver is going to be the winner between gold and silver. Both of them are probably going to be I would say gold and silver, platinum are going to be it's going to be at the top of the best performing sector in the economy. It's going to outperform everything. But within that, silver is going to outperform gold. I see silver by the end of January somewhere in the $41 range, and I still see gold somewhere in the $3,100 range by the end of January. A year later, I see gold at about 5,000 and silver at 100.
Oh, wow.
And it's going to coincide with what you mentioned with the dollar. The dollar's held up. I can tell that we went in there and defended it at 100, the index. It dipped down into the 99s for just maybe an hour or two, and the US, I'm sure, came in to defend it.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, it's sitting at, I think, right around 101. My guess would be as we get closer to the next rate hike, they'll start pricing that in. All of a sudden, you're going to see 99, 98 and a half. I still see the dollar trending down, the index down to between 90 and 95 this year. And then I think over the next 3 to 5 years, you'll see it slowly trend down into the 70 range. So it's not going to be falling off a cliff. You're not going to have a panic where all one day you wake up and it goes from 90 to 70. It's just
Right.
going to be a slow ladder going the wrong direction. And when you look at that, I mean, everyone's so worried about inflation right now. You start pricing in a dollar that starts to depreciate, everything you go to buy is going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at some of the numbers that we've gone through. I mean, you go all the way back to say 1965 when we did the Coinage Act. At that point, Johnson took silver out of the dimes and the quarters, and he dropped the silver dollars from 90% down to 40%.
Right.
And that was because of silver shortages. And then, of course, in 71, Nixon took us off the gold standard. Now, since then, you've lost 98.5% of your purchasing power. But really, for the average American, it's worse than that. Because, first of all, they took 35, 40% out of your paycheck in taxes. But then there's a whole other slew of taxes put on that. Any profits you made in the markets, you paid a capital gains tax.
Yeah.
Any dividends, you paid income tax. You want to take your family fishing, you got to go pay a tax to get a fishing license. You want to drive a car, you got to pay for a driver's license. You
Are you seeking a secure, truly offshore solution to protect your wealth? Whether you're invested in gold, silver, or other precious metals, strategic wealth preservation is the strategic storage choice. Located in the Cayman Islands, SWP offers a state-of-the-art 6,000 square foot facility, purpose-built to safeguard your assets with unparalleled security and privacy. Why choose the Cayman Islands? This premier jurisdiction has zero taxes on stored precious metals, no reporting requirements, and complete peace of mind, making it the ideal solution for investors looking to diversify internationally. At SWP, your metals are fully segregated, allocated, and insured. You can buy online or in person. Plus, SWP has a dedicated logistics team that facilitates the global transportation of your precious metals from almost anywhere in the world. Learn more about SWP and how they can help secure your precious metals offshore. Visit swpcayman.com or call them today, and the link will be in the description below. Thanks.
want to take a deer, you got to get a deer license. It just keeps going on and on. Before you're all said and done, the dollar you take home from your job, you might get taxed on that thing 10 or 12 different times.
Absolutely.
And then it's just amazing. The government still runs red ink. I mean,
Mhm.
how is it possible? This spending addiction. They think it goes on forever, but clearly they haven't studied much about history. I mean, in history, every time a fiat dollar starts to get trampled into the ground, it just accelerates.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, guys who are as rich as Elon Musk, 3 years later, they're pushing around wheelbarrows full of dollars to go buy a thing of bread. It's a dangerous time. The silver shortage is going to get very interesting. There's a silver shortage all by itself that has been pretty quiet, but it's coming. But now you've got Chinese and India buying just tons and tons of gold. I mean, they're buying all they can get.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah.
India just broke a record. I mean, right now, you figure between 2021 and 2024, we've run a 759 million ounce deficit in supply for silver.
Wow.
So we're
That's crazy.
already, yeah, you're already way behind the ball.
Yeah.
But now you got the Chinese and the Russians. And when the Chinese come in, I'm sorry, the Chinese and the Indians. Now, when the Chinese come in, they tend to buy in bulk. I mean, they try to corner a market, and we saw what they did with nickel. You're seeing them do it with all the strategic minerals. I have no doubt they're going to do the same thing. They want to dominate the solar panel market, I think, in the world and the electric vehicle market. And they know they need silver for both of those. The average solar panel needs 20 grams of silver per panel. And then you tack on the fact that, AI is coming and AI is going to take up a lot of silver as well. So you're going to have a situation where there's no doubt both gold and silver are going to run. And I still would spread your eggs across the board, but silver is probably the better buy of the two at this point.
Yeah.
And geopolitically, it's a tinderbox out there. I mean,
It's crazy out there.
right before we came on the air, Israel just took out the new number one guy for Hezbollah.
That was just like, was that just today? Hey, I was just watching
Yeah,
that on the news. I was like, what the heck is going on?
massive attack. As a matter of fact, a bigger explosion than when they took Nazareth out, and that took down a
Jeez.
whole. I think that took down a city block. This one
Gonna
was
get
bigger. They
crazy.
took out the number two guy. But that's got to be the worst job to advertise in the world. I mean, who wants that position right now?
Yeah, anyone who wants those positions is just a mark of death on them.
Yeah, I was just looking at the numbers. We were talking about India. India just brought in, right now, it looks like about 7,000 tons of silver they've taken in.
Wow.
It's amazing the numbers they're looking at. I mean, you're talking like ten billion dollars worth of gold they've also taken in at the same time. So you're taking a lot of supply off the market. And at the same time, you've got these geopolitical issues that are just eating people up, I think.
Yeah.
If we can keep the Middle East from blowing apart, it would literally take a miracle right now. Because Iran's sitting there, the first mistake that gets made, you got a big problem. I mean, last night the Israelis hit both Syrian bases where the Russians are at. Uh,
Really?
yeah, they blew up a huge arms shipment that was sitting there that was going to Hezbollah, which kind of proves the fact that these arms are going from Iran through the Russian bases where they think it's safe and then off to Hezbollah. Israel went in and hit them last night hard.
Jeez.
So you're talking about a situation where, hey, one Russian plane accidentally gets hit by accident,
Oh, it's
and
over. That's crazy.
then the whole thing changes. So I think people should probably just stick to their guns, keep doing what you've told people to do the whole time. Keep adding your positions
Yeah.
monthly. I know there's a debate right now. It's only about a 38% chance we're going to get a 50 basis point cut in November. My guess is that percentage is going to skyrocket. We're going to start to get some probably bad employment numbers. And on top of that, I think we're going to head in now 5 weeks to the presidential election. And it's just what we said was going to happen 6, 8 months ago. We said there were going to be, chaos right into it.
Yeah.
And Trump's been shot at twice. I mean,
Like,
you
how
know,
crazy is that?
how do you not see chaos coming out of the election too? Because no matter who wins, I mean, if Trump wins, we saw what happened last time. 50% of the people ran around the country screaming, not my president. And they did everything they could to really kind of destroy the economy and him. If he loses, half the country's not going to believe that he lost.
Right.
Uh, so you're going to have a mess. I think this is absolutely the perfect storm that we've kind of waited for in the gold and silver markets. Not just this year, but you get into 2025, it's going to be just a perfect market, and people should stay heavily invested. I think as you see these supply issues start to really get into the mainstream news, that's when people are going to start to look at some of these miners. Like, I've been up there with the guys in the Golden Triangle up in Canada. I think you can look at the exploration miners. If you wanted to add some stocks in with your physical holdings, look for the exploration miners because assets in the ground are going to skyrocket
Right.
because guys like Newmont, Barrick, they're all going to need supply in order to keep their production numbers up. So they're going to go find people that have proven properties in the ground, and then they're going to go and scoop them up. So if someone could put together, say, 5, 6 exploration miners, spread your eggs across the board a little bit, I'd probably add that into your physical holdings just to give you a little bit of juice. But other than that, I think people should just every month just keep going in there and keep buying, just what you've been telling guys to do.
Yeah, keep stacking, keep adding to your positions, especially right now. Like I know 4 years ago, some people could be like, I don't know. Actually, still 4 years ago around COVID, you'd still want to keep stacking. I guess now is more important than ever to just keep on adding to your silver and gold stack because yeah, another 10, 20 years, how long will this dollar, how long can it keep depreciating, right?
It usually starts to accelerate at the end, so it'll go slow, 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 and then the last three
Right.
years it'll be gone. And I think that's when we'll switch to a new currency.
Yeah.
Really, we won't have any choice. But yeah, it's going to be a real interesting situation. The markets are moving fast. I would say for anybody who worries about, geez, gold's up here almost at 2,700. I started buying gold. I think it was 1,050, and it got to 1,200, and same thing. The technical, the chart guys came on and said, "Oh, it's got to backfill down to 1,000, 1,100," and next thing you know, it was 1,400. Then it was 1,800. Then it was 21. Now it's 27. Guys are going to turn around, and if they haven't purchased it, they're going to end up chasing it at 31, or they're going to sit there on their hands and just watch it go to 5,000 and never participate. But if there's one part of the economy you want to be in right now, it's in precious metals and specifically gold, silver, platinum.
Yeah.
Just buy it, stick it away. Anybody who tells, like financial advisors, stockbrokers that are loading guys into it, they're going to look like geniuses just by accident because it's the right sector and money's going to keep rotating into it. And this is the new money. The money that's flowing into the S&P 500 and to a lot of the
That's
NASDAQ
old
stocks,
money.
yeah, it's late cycle. And what's happening now is you're starting to see a rotation, and now you're going to see new money come in, and 2,700 will be the bottom for somebody who's coming in and buying heavy.
Right.
And
Yeah, exactly.
that's going to thing. You're just going to continue to put that ladder in all the way up. So I think it's a nice, healthy market right now. I would just don't worry about it. Don't day trade it. Just keep sticking it away,
Yeah.
and add the exploration miners as a
Hel-
little extra juice.
Healthy precious metals market, just not a geopolitical one.
It's one of those things where you feel a little sad because you can't, you don't ever want to take a victory lap, but really the stuff we've been talking about for 2 years, you're seeing it all happen now.
Oh yeah.
It's playing out right in front of us, and the people that are not prepared, and there's still time to get there. The people that aren't prepared, when the currency really runs into a crisis, they're going to have a problem. So I think, guys, it just is prudent right now for people to begin rotating into metals, um, and then just sit back and you can sleep at night.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone add to your positions. More silver, gold. I'm adding, everyone else keep adding.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I mean, these rate cuts, I've been watching the commercial real estate market. People kind of are wondering, well, geez, why is the Federal Reserve cutting rates when inflation is still an issue?
Right.
Tell you what, the commercial real estate market is in a free fall around the United States. I'm talking depression level and not recession level. There's
Jeez.
one building after another, and it's good markets too. I'm seeing it Austin, Texas, Charlotte, Carolina. I mean, those are places that are booming where people actually are moving to. But you're seeing defaults one after another, and a lot of them are landmark places that you would think, geez, this place could never go into default. And every time it happens, it's another 150 million, another 200 million. I saw a large place out in Washington State, $1 billion was sent back.
Jeez.
And I think, if I remember right, I think Silverstein Capital was the funder behind that, and it went back
Wow.
to them. And that's the part I would really watch out. People keep talking about watch for a black swan. Shears and Lehman wasn't the black swan. It was long-term capital.
Right.
Senator John Corzine, they keep that kind of quiet, I think, because of him. They didn't want to publicize it. But when long-term capital blew apart, that started the domino effect. And like this $1 billion place out in Washington that went back to Silverstein, one of those funds is going to blow up, and you're going to wake up at 8:30 in the morning and look at the news and say, "Oh, well, what happened?" And all of a sudden this breaking crisis is going to unfold.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's
It's getting
happening every
crazy.
day. It's happening every day in just about every market in the United States right now. And the Fed has got to move fast because they're in a race because commercial real estate does not turn around quickly. And right now you got banks sitting on 512 billion in unrealized losses.
Jeez.
Now, if commercial real estate continues to plummet, those losses are going to keep skyrocketing. 512 is going to turn into a trillion, because these are not small deals. These are 150 million dollar deals when they default. So I
Wow.
would say the Federal Reserve now is in a race, and they've got to inject liquidity, and that's just perfect for gold and silver, and
Yeah.
inversely not very good for the dollar.
Yeah, no, you absolutely nailed it, Thomas. Every time you come on, it's so beautiful because we get to go deep dive into what the markets are looking at like every aspect. And yeah, it's just crazy times we're living in. So thank you again for coming down to Wall Street Silver.
Oh.
And yeah, love to have you back on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ivan. Sometimes you get to the point where you almost feel like you're talking doom and gloom all the time, but honestly, that old saying, you don't get knocked out by the punch you see coming.
Right.
That's the thing. People have to be prepared. As long as you see this coming and prepare yourself, you and your family will be fine. You can ride it out. The new
Oh
currency will
yeah.
take place, and we'll have a better, more stable currency in the future with a gold-backed currency. And then the next generation won't go through what the last generation went through, where they couldn't
Yeah.
afford, specific items because they just got too expensive.
Yeah.
It's going to be a better world. It's just going to be a hard transition.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Well, Thomas, it's such a huge pleasure having you on, and in the near future, as the gold and silver market develops, I'd absolutely love to have you back on.
Great. Thanks, Ivan. Thanks very much.
Yeah, no problem. Talk to you soon.